that is out of Oregon, which is an absolutely tragic story. And I guess the point of this story is that we are no better than Nazi Germany. What I'm going to talk to you about is Hitleresque in its scope, in its inhumanity, in its cruelty, in its barbarity. Here's a story from Fox News. An Oregon County Commission has ordered an incinerator to stop accepting boxed medical waste to generate electricity after learning the waste it's been burning may include tissue from aborted fetuses from British Columbia. So we've been importing the bodies of aborted babies so we can burn them to a crisp in order to heat our homes. I mean, this is no different than ancient Israel sacrificing their children to the god Molech. That was a god of fire. I've described him to you before. He was a giant cast iron god, almost like a fireplace, like a patio fireplace pit. Had arms extended. They would put a fire in his belly. This fire would be heated red hot. The arms of the god would be extended, and the babies would be rolled down the outstretched arms of the god Molech, and they would be consumed and incinerated in fire. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what is going on in the state of Oregon. We brought you that story about how this was happening in the UK. And we were probably thinking at the time, thank God that it's not happening in the United States. Thank God that would never happen here. And now we are finding out it is, in fact, happening here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have zero right. We have zero right as a nation to claim any kind of moral superiority over Nazi Germany, over Hitler and his goon squads. We have no right to claim any kind of moral superiority over Nazi Germany. This is our own Holocaust, and it is a horror. I mean, the proper reaction to this is absolute, complete revulsion. This is what the Bible calls an abomination. You know, the word abomination in Hebrew, it refers to just this internal, visceral revulsion. When you see something and it just, it makes you want to throw up. That's the reaction you have to it. That is what an abomination is, and that's what we are dealing with here. Sam Britano, chairman of the Marion County Board of Commissioners, said late Wednesday the board is taking immediate action to prohibit the human tissue from future deliveries at the plant that has been turning waste into energy since 1987. As far as we know, they have been burning the bodies of aborted babies for, 27 years. Quote, we provide an important service to the people of this state, and it would be a travesty if this program is jeopardized due to this finding. So they've shut off the tap. No more medical waste from British Columbia. Christy Anderson, a British Columbia Health Ministry spokeswoman, told the Associated Press that regional health authorities there have a contract with a company that sends biomedical waste such as fetal tissue, cancerous tissue, and amputated limbs. I mean, how grisly can you get? Sending this stuff to Oregon where it's incinerated in the waste-to-energy plant. So this is, this is pretty horrible stuff, if you ask me. And they, of course, have made a decision that they are going to stop delivery of this. And Jeff, let's grab soundbite. This is just an audio bite. I don't have video on this, but this is soundbite A8. Now, this is Marion County in Oregon, and the officials there are claiming they had no idea. They didn't know anything about it. This is the first we've heard of it. As soon as we heard about it, we decided to put a stop to it. But here's a guy by the name of Bud Waterman, and Bud Waterman is a guy that worked at the facility that converted this medical waste. I mean, think about that just for a minute. How they are identifying and describing babies that have been murdered. They are described not as babies, they are described as medical waste. By the way, this is kind of an aside, but you've probably seen I haven't talked about it, but you've seen the media frenzy over the fact that Chelsea Clinton is pregnant. I mean, they're going nuts. This is a royal baby. Step aside, Prince George. We've got a new royal baby on the way. But here's the thing I want you to observe. You never I mean, in all of the mainstream media reports on her pregnancy, have you ever heard what she is carrying described as anything other than a baby or a child? I dare you, she's early in the pregnancy now. I dare you to find one mainstream media outlet that describes what she is carrying in her womb as a blob of tissue or a glob of protoplasm. I dare you to find one. It's as long as it's wanted, it's a baby. As long as it's wanted, it's a child. But if it's not wanted, then it is what? It is medical waste. Now, this Bud Waterman was interviewed by a television station in Oregon on this issue, and he's responding here to the claim on the part of county officials, or the people that run this facility at least, that they didn't know anything about this. And I've got a montage of his sound bites in this interview with KOIN TV. Let's listen.
They all knew it. They all had to know it, because they had no place to take it other than there.
Bud Waterman used to work as a temp at Covanta Marion Inc. in Brooks and tells me 2 to 3 times a week, 53-foot tractor trailers with biohazards inside dropped off loads. And on more than one occasion, Waterman says the contents would spill out.
And it would make you sick, especially if you have to clean it up or have to pull a box off the trailer that there's so much blood.
Waterman believes fetuses have been incinerated here for years and used for energy, a practice the Canadian government won't do.
They knew it. They had to. I don't see how they could not know it.
All right, so you said, look, they knew it. They had to know it. I worked there. These loads would come into the plant several days a week, and often these loads would spill out on the pavement. And I was one of the people that had to clean it up. He said it would make you sick, make you nauseous to see what spilled out of these boxes, the amount of blood. And he would have seen the babies of these, the bodies of these aborted babies. So there's no way they did not know what was going on. And you know, there's some pretty severe criticisms in the Bible for those that say they didn't know, that they knew, but they said we didn't know, that they avert their eyes and try to maintain the fiction that they had no idea what was going on. So we want to get your reactions to that. We'll start taking calls in the next segment. We want to get your reaction to what's going on out here in Oregon. Now, we have some winnable war items along the line of the sanctity of life. That's a pretty sobering story. But yesterday, the governor of Mississippi signed into law a bill that will prevent any kind of abortion on a baby from being done after 20 weeks of gestation. That's when we know a baby in the womb can experience pain. And Charmaine Yost, who is president of Americans United for Life, she said this: a woman seeking an abortion at 20 weeks or 5 months is 35 times more likely to die from abortion than she was in the first trimester. At 21 weeks or more, she is 91 times more likely to die from abortion than she was in the first trimester. You want to know where the real war on women is? It's right here. This is the real war on women, being waged by abortuaries, by clinics that perform abortions against babies and their mothers. The mothers die. The mortality rate among babies is 100%. And what Charmaine Yost says, there's a real danger to women, to the mothers in these late-term abortions. It's 100% fatalities with the unborn babies, but 35 times more likely to die than in the first trimester. At 21 weeks, just a week later, 91 times more likely to die. So who's engaging in the war on women? It'd be Planned Parenthood. Who's protecting women, looking out for them? It's the Sanctity of Life community. Back in 2.
This is Life Issues with Brad Mattis.